Hello YouTube, my name is Sharice Jones and I just want to come to you to talk to you about my book publishing experience. I've published a children's book with Create Space and Lulu Publishing Company, and they're both print-on-demand companies. I just want to kind of go through my experience and how those things came out. This is my picture book, a children's book for ages 0 to 5. It is called Ahmoni's Crawling Adventures, as you can see. This is the hardcover, and this one came from Lulu Publishing Company. Okay, I myself am more of a fan of Lulu because of their quality. I think with Lulu, that's the number one thing that I see with them is quality. And if I'm going to sell and publish books, I want to make sure that these books go out with great quality. Okay. I'm happy with, Lulu's product. It's very colorful. And that's what I want my books to be. That's the way I want them to be, because they are children's books. If you're going to write children's books, you want them to be colorful. You want them to stand out. You want them to be big. This is an 8 by 11 size. I think with Lulu and Create Space, I'm not sure. I think this is the biggest size book that you can go with, I think. Quote me if I'm wrong, if you know something different. But I did want my picture books. That's what this is. I want my picture books to be a big size. Create Space does not do hardback books. They do only softback. And I'm going to show you Create Space KDP stuff in a minute. What came out, what the outcome of that in just a minute. I just want to talk about Lulu first. All right, with Lulu, I felt like I could do more with them, especially when it comes to choosing the cover or choosing my back and cover. Okay, I was able to put extra things on the back of this one. I put the daddy and little Ahmoni back there and a dog. I was able to do that. As with Create Space, I felt like I was kind of limited in a way to what I could add, especially when you're choosing their format designs for the cover and the back cover part. If you're gonna go with what they have, you kind of limited as far as what you can do, and that's just how I felt about Create Space, but not with Lulu. And if you look in the inside, this is what my outcome was. Very colorful, very nice, very quality pages. I mean, if you can hear that thickness there in the page, the quality of the pages is what I was impressed with. Very nice photos. It is a picture book. As with a picture book, there's very little words. As you can see, the focus is the pictures, especially if you're writing for children 0 to 5. That should be the focus. So this is my picture book from Lulu. If I had to choose which book I like the best, I really like the hardcover. I also did a paperback with Lulu. I did both, and the reason why I did both is because with Lulu, if you do just a hardback, you can sell that only in the US. If you do a paperback, you can sell it all across the globe. And that's why I wanted my reach to go beyond the US, so I did a paperback. Okay, and it came out just as good as the hardback. I like the quality of this, like I said. Now, when you're looking at Create Space, it's different. I mean, in my opinion, I hear other people here on YouTube talk about how Create Space, they like it. And I mean, I think one of the biggest things with Create Space is that they can reach more of an audience. They can earn more money, that sort of thing. So I did publish with Create Space, but I took my project down. That means I unpublished it because I was not satisfied with the outcome of what they did, what they put together here. See, on the back, I was kind of limited when I went with their format. I was kind of limited to what I could put on the back. I couldn't put the father and the baby on the back and the dog. I couldn't do that. Or at least I was having a hard time doing that. Now, maybe some of you out there can give me some tips on how to do better, but I'm new at it, of course. This is my first book. I'm new at it, so I had a hard time putting what I want back there. But I was able to get, of course, the description on the back. And, of course, I put the description again on the back of the one on Lulu. I do want people to know, or the gist of what my book is going to be about before they purchase it. Okay, so this is Create Space's outcome. The color and the pictures are fine. Everything is fine. But the one thing I did not like was this line. I had some formatting issues with Create Space. I really suffered with formatting with them. So I got to the point I had to find myself reposting it and trying to reformat it until I got to the point where I just gave up. So I just unsubmitted it. I just unpublished it and said that I would just go with Lulu, since Lulu publishes such good quality books. So if you're interested, you would have to go to Lulu and purchase the book. But this was a good learning experience with Create Space. As you can see, their pictures to me seem to be very thin. They're not as thick and as of good quality as Lulu. This Create Space seemed to give me, pictures that you can literally print on your own printer. That's the experience I feel like I just had with Create Space KDP. I mean, some of y'all can, tell me something different if you printed with Create Space to, tell me your experience. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not happy with it. Okay. And so I discontinued it. But I do want you to know that the ebook for Ahmoni's crawling experience is still up with Amazon, which is Create Space KDP. It's still there, the ebook. I will be publishing my ebooks with Create Space. I will continue to do that. So that means taking the form of this book and putting it in a electronic book. I will do that. Continue to do that. But if you go to Lulu, you will only find the print version. Okay. So my goal is to create books for young children that kind of highlight the things that they go through. For example, learning to crawl. So this book's whole goal is the crawling experience for young children. And it's not what you say realistic. It's not, real life stuff, but it takes a few elements of real life and it's mixed in with, fiction. It's fake. So for example, Ahmoni is crawling all over the town. Okay, she's crawling all over the place. Okay, she gets away from her parents and she crawls outside the door. You can see her. She crawls outside the door, that sort of thing. And when she gets outside the door, she's crawling all over the place. She's crawling up a tree. Okay, she's crawling up a tree. She crawled up a stop sign. Okay, she crawled up a stop sign. She crawled in front of a porcupine. That sort of thing. So it's not what you say real life stuff. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be fun for children. And supposed to be colorful. It's just supposed to attract their attention. My books will also, even though they're funny and fake experiences, they're also going to teach lessons. They will always teach something to these children. So the goal of this book is to teach positional words. Okay, like beside, in front of, or above, below, that sort of thing. this is what this book teaches. Okay, so my goal is to write 7 more children's books, and they will still stick with the character Ahmoni. They will stick with her. She will have other experiences in life, like learning to walk, learning to talk, her very first Christmas, and so on and so on. So I got a lot of book ideas, 7 more book ideas to go. I'm working on my second book right now. And my goal is to make my books colorful, or they have one theme color. This is the first book, and the theme color is, of course, yellow. That's what you see. That's the theme color. My next book theme color will be blue, and so on. For each book will be a main color. So I'm just trying to be creative with it. I am the author and the illustrator of all my books. Okay, I did draw these pictures. Okay. As you can see, all of these pictures I drew them. And I literally taught myself how to draw in 2 days. I was a stick figure drawer, okay? And I taught myself how to draw. I seriously wanted to write children's books, and I bared down. I didn't really want to outsource an illustrator. I wanted to be the main person that did all of my work, okay? So yes, I drew all of my pictures. What drives me to write children's books is I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to write books in general. I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, I found in the library an empty book, and I wrote in it. I wrote a story in it, and I literally wrote the 3 little bears. I think I rewrote the 3 little bears in that empty book. And when I rewrote it, I didn't realize that I had taken the book and laid it down in the house somewhere. My grandmother found the book, and she read it, and she came back to me and she said, "What a good job. That was a good job. You did a good job writing that story." And so from that point on, I felt inspired to write. I mean, just that little experience with my grandmother made me feel like, wow. Those words of encouragement made me feel like, wow, I could write one day. And also, I teach high school students. I teach them early childhood, which is preparing them for working with children. And because I train them, I actually give them an assignment of writing a children's story. That's one of their assignments. It's something that is part of the curriculum, and it's something that I make them do. And the outcome of what they do is so fascinating to me. The outcome of it, when they write these stories, I can really see how talented my students really, really are. And that literally inspired me to write. I mean, I had been given this assignment for 15 years. So I've been teaching for 15 years, and I've been given that assignment for 15 years. And on my 15th year is when I decided to follow in my own students' footsteps by writing my own children's story. So those are my 2 pieces of inspiration for the reason why I decided to write children's books. So, just sitting in here, I mean, I have a very, very busy life. I'm always on the go. I'm taking care of my mother and so on, and running errands and doing. So, going through COVID-19 has really gave me a chance to just sit here and really focus and bear down and get the time to literally write my children's book. So I'm happy with my outcome. I mean, I feel good. It looks good. It looks like a real book to me. It's real. And it was one of my goals, and I brought it to life. The only thing I can tell you, if you are interested in writing children's stories or any kind of story, whether it be novels, whether it be teen stories, whatever the case, the main piece of information I can give you is to just sit down and write it. If you don't write it, it's not gonna get done. Okay. When you start writing, you may feel overwhelmed because you got so many thoughts that you want to get on paper, but it's hard. You can't get it on paper. At least you feel like you just can't do it. Don't create in your mind this big mental block like, ooh, I got so much going on, I can't get it on paper. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take paper And you're going to have to start to write down every idea that you have in your head. Just write every idea down on paper. Just write it down. Okay? And what will start to happen is your brain will start to piece together what you really want to say. You're going to take pieces of that. You're going to say, well, I don't want this piece. I'm going to take this piece out. And what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite what you just wrote again, because when you rewrite it, a new thought is going to pop in your head. Okay, a new thought is going to pop in your head, and you're going to add that thought. And then guess what you're going to do next? You're going to rewrite it again, and then you're going to add that thought, that new thought that pops in your head. So that's how I got through writing my book. It took me, on this first book, it took me 2 months to write the story part. And you got to think about it. 2 months for just little words like this. Okay, picture book words, very few words, but it took me 2 months to put these words together. Okay, some might say that's not bad, but some might say, ooh, it's quite, long, whatever, depending on you. But then again, this was my first book. Okay, now, like I told you before, I taught myself how to draw in just 2 days. So the mind is powerful. The mind, if you put your mind on something and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do it, your brain will do it. I couldn't draw at all, but look at these drawings. Look at that, okay? You're talking about a person who used to draw stick figures who is not a drawer at all. Look, this is what I got with practice in just 2 days. Okay, my brain was able to do this in 2 days. Okay, on my first book. All right, so we're talking writing and drawing every picture. This book is about, I say, 35 pages of drawings, and the rest of the pages I think are just copyright stuff. But I had to sit down and draw every bit of this. Okay, and it took me from March to the end of April to complete this book and get it published. It wasn't bad, okay? It wasn't bad. Okay, but I drew all of this. Okay, so don't feel like you can't, because you can. Your brain can. If you put your brain to it, your brain can. So I am working on my second book. It is going to be The Color Blue. Okay, I'm excited about it because my brain now has learned how to draw and write. I'm actually moving faster on the second book. So the second book will be out on the first week of May. Okay, we're sitting in here with COVID-19 going on. We're sitting in here, and we don't have anything else to do. So I'm not teaching right now because of COVID-19. So why not take this time to just get these books out? Okay, get my dreams going still, even though we're under this situation. Keep on going with your dreams. Okay, so this is the hardback book. I did, when I first published this book, I published it on April the 14th, and I did make 2 mistakes. I, on the back where the description is, I put in one word that shouldn't have been in there. It was execution. It was not supposed to be execution. It was supposed to be excursion. I had to go back in and take that word out and put in the right word. And the thing about with Lulu and Create Space, I must say, the thing about them, they will allow you to go back and change your mistakes if you have a mistake, because you got to remember these books are print on demand. So you can go back and change your mistakes. At least they don't charge you for that or anything. They allow you to try to, go back and make these mistakes, correct these mistakes. And another mistake I found was inside the book. Right here, if you see where it says, then Ahmoni stopped. Okay. And then on the next page, I said, then Ahmoni stopped and started to cry. Okay. I put then Ahmoni stopped 2 times. So I had to go back and take out that second, then Ahmoni stopped. Okay. I had to take it out, redo that. But those were the only 2 mistakes I made, and I was able to go back and fix those mistakes. So this is Lulu. This quality book, Lulu. This paperback book, because of the quality of it, it's Lulu. So I prefer Lulu. So if you're looking for Ahmoni's Crawly Adventures, if you're interested, all of my books will be posted on lulu.com under the name Sharice Jones. You can either just type my name in, or you can actually type in Ahmoni's Crawly Adventures and it will pop up. The one on Create Space, which is this one, was taken down. No longer there. The only you will find this book still on Create Space, but in ebook form.